2024, the year of the dragon. This is the year of prosperity, authority, money, all that stuff, if you can embody the spirit of the dragon. And to kick off the new year of the dragon, I have 3D printed one of these articulated Well, I did. I don't like these. So, it's the year of the dragon. It's gonna be an absolute mess. Everybody is already having a hard time. It's only February. Things are gonna be wild, okay? But we here on Kimchi Studios are going to make some art. And I went ahead and started this year off strong. And embodying the year of the dragon spirit, I have come up with a brand new 3D printed concept design. This goes in your bathroom. It solves a problem that we all have, especially those with long, luscious locks, such as myself. That's right, the hairdryer is the bane of our existence when we get into the bathroom. We are always tangled up in that cord, and it makes life a living hell, and it makes the space completely intolerable when you're trying to get ready and get out the door. So, in order to solve this crisis, I have come up with a brand new concept design, and I have printed it in its first version. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the universal hairdryer stand. Now, this is a concept that I went ahead and started on TikTok Live. If you're not subscribed to me and following me on TikTok Live, go ahead and do that. TikTok has matured. It is much different than it used to be a year ago. And there are great opportunities for you to make money. I'm not advertising TikTok. I'm just saying, I opened up my store just yesterday. It's under print_scape. Printscape, and that's where I'm selling my emoji coasters and other affiliate products there. TikTok is what Etsy needs to become, and it is what Instagram has failed to become. I do not understand what the hell the people at Instagram are doing all day. They've totally fumbled the ball. TikTok is gonna take all the cake. Everybody's on there, everybody's sharing products, everybody's making money. So go ahead and check it out. But follow me first, okay? Link in the description of this video. This design is an artistic sculpture. Remember, this is not the place for Sonic the Hedgehog pajama wearing folks. We are not worried about what time Thomas the Train arrives at his station. We are concept artists, and we are inspired by inventor stories. By the way, I'm coming out with a new story very, very soon. Hopefully later this week I'll have it out, but it's been kicking my butt because of the lack of media, lack of material to work with that isn't copyrighted. Look forward to that. So on this channel, Kimchi Studios, we are an art studio, okay? We are just making concept art, and maybe it's functional, maybe it's not, okay? You're just gonna have to deal with it. So this conceptual design I am pretty happy with, and I'm gonna explain my thought process because I think that's what you all can benefit from the most. Now, this is not a 3D printing channel. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just want the 3D printer to work and to put the stuff on the build plate, and someday it'll turn into something as popular as laser inkjet printers or the microwave, maybe. Probably, but until then, I don't care about all the little settings. I don't care about all the little hacks. I just want to buy a printer and I want it to work. And if you need a printer, I highly recommend the Elegoo Neptune series printers. They're great. They have auto leveling. I have the older versions, the Elegoo Neptune 3. It works way better than my older printer that I was using that didn't have auto leveling, which is a game changer for me personally. The auto leveling is great. And now they have even more updated versions. And right now they're having a sale, a New Year's sale, to celebrate the Year of the Dragon. So there's gonna be a link in the description of this video. Go check it out. And any sales towards that, maybe I get a little cut, maybe, you know, support the channel. Another way you can support the channel is by going to Patreon, where I share my insights and I will release 3D printables on there that you can print yourself and sell. I have the terms and conditions listed on there for you. So definitely go ahead and check that out. That's also linked in the description of this video. And I recently shared my experience living in Korea. I have many to share with you. If you're interested in Korean life, what it's like, I am a very experienced two-time Korean resident. I lived there, I breathed the air, and I ate all the kimchi. I am a cut above your average foreigner there, way above. I had a very successful language school that I ran and operated for a decade, and I came back to the US just in time for the last 4 years of absolute nonsense. And 2024, we need to embody the spirit of the dragon to really punch through, push through, take control of your life. Hopefully you can get some sales out there as aspiring, starving artists that we are. My Patreon has insights into my experiences as a successful business owner over in a foreign country. And I recently posted my experience during the nuclear tests. That's right, I was sitting on the toilet during one of them. There were, I think, 2 of them that I felt. It's over on the Patreon, go check it out. And I share my experiences over there, certain tips, tricks if you're going over there. Yeah, that's right, I was on the toilet and then the media was trying to gaslight everybody and say that it wasn't nuclear tests, but it was. It was. Definitely go ahead and check that out. So back to the design. This is another design I will be coming out with. I have my emoji coasters listed on my TikTok shop at print_escape. This is another design that I hope to release there, but I do need to fine tune it and I'll show you why. The overall concept is I wanted a hairdryer stand to make the cluttered mess in my bathroom a lot more manageable and appealing. The hairdryer goes on top, and that's why it has this kind of sledded slope. Ooh. Feels kind of nice. And it has a very wide mouth to it. And the reason why I didn't do an enclosure over top is because you'll notice that a lot of hair dryers these days come with those extensions, and those aren't all tubular. They are wide mouth and they have like different, you know, kind of like looking these prongs and stuff that like stick out. So there's all kinds of attachments that you need to take into consideration, and that's how I approach things. So when I have a concept like this, I'm thinking of all the possibilities kind of like all at the same time, but only the ones that really matter. It doesn't matter like all these like little measurements and stuff that the Sonic the Hedgehog pajama wearers like to worry about so much, and they'll comment, you know, and they'll be like, well, you didn't do that, and then you go and you look and they don't have anything on their channel, and you know, they're using an alt account to take a dump on you. That's just the way people are, especially people who are jealous. What I'm thinking of when I designed this was, is this gonna be comfortable for anybody at any height, you know, no matter what your height is, or somebody with shoulders that, you know, you have a shoulder injury, you can't lift it up as much. Are they gonna be able to pull out any length or any diameter size tube of hair dryer from this stand here? And the answer is yes, because I took all of that into consideration and I used it with FreeCAD. FreeCAD is a great way for anybody to get somewhat precise measurements or very precise measurements depending on what you're doing. The reason I didn't design this in my typical VR sculpting program is because I needed to keep my mind focused. I needed to just get it punched in and get it printed on the bed so I could take a look at it and see where I wanted to go from there. Now, you could do whatever you want, and that's the beauty of this channel. We are very open-minded on this channel. Whatever works, whatever gets the job done, and whatever gets that dollar in your bank account, really. I took into consideration the pull, the draw, okay? I'm very into firearms. I like holsters. I have a bunch that I wasted money on, and I'm stuck with them. I have some really good ones though. All of that experience from me interacting with my holsters and things that I didn't like about them, I took that into consideration when I came up with this design, believe it or not. So that is why I came out with this angle. This angle here really worked well for me. If you look at the back of your hair dryers, all of the weight is centered in that rear part there, that housing there. That's where the motor is, and the heat element is towards the front, and it's a lot lighter, it's a lot thinner. So I wanted gravity to do most of the work for me. I didn't want something to be held and locked in there and harder to pull out, you know? Imagine like it had a tunnel and you had to slide it all the way out. That's gonna be annoying for people that are shorter or people who, you know, they have a shoulder issue. I just wanted it to be able to rock it off or pull it forward or, you know, lift it up. Just really have that freedom of movement with this while looking somewhat ergonomic. And that's what I've done successfully, and you can too, if you continue to subscribe and like this video. This is obviously where the handle will go, and I have beveled all of these edges in FreeCAD. Basically, I highlight all of the edges, and then when you're beveling something like this, it could be tricky. You need to start with a low number like 0.2 millimeters for the bevel. I think it's a radius or something like that, but that's, and then you work up from there. It's gonna throw you an error if it's impossible to do, you know, like a 1 millimeter bevel, you know, all the way around. You're gonna run into issues with that. So this angle lets gravity do all of the work for me. Also, it's long enough to fit most hair dryers on the market, even with the attachments. I have one that's kind of a full size and full length, And even with the attachment, it sits just perfect, like right above where the table surface is, the sink area is. My main goal was to make this grabbable without scuffing your hands. And I also took into consideration all the ladies out there that have those dangly nails that you like to glue on. So you can come in and you can claw this thing very comfortably, very quickly. Because I understand you're busy, you gotta get out there, you gotta make that money, right? One other thing that I noticed, and this is just a little quirk that you have to deal with 3D printing. 3D printing has a lot of quirks. And again, this is not a channel for 3D printing. There's a lot of great videos and tutorials out there of how to dial in your settings, and really you need to worry about the first layer and then go on from there. And there's some great tutorials out there, and I don't have the time to focus on that right now. But I do want to point out something. This has a seam. So the seam is where the 3D printer is printing the layers. It's where it starts and where it ends, basically. So that is going to show up. This is kind of a zigzag looking pattern, and there's nothing you can really do about that unless you go into the expert, advanced, or experimental settings for the type of slicer you're using. The slicer is the program that you take your model from FreeCAD or other sculpting object program, and you take that STL file, okay, and you plop it onto your software. It looks like a 3D printing build plate, and then you click the button to slice, and what it does is it's calculating where to move the nozzle and how much PLA plastic to spit out and retract as it's moving around, and the temperatures and all that stuff. So that's what the slicer does. If you didn't know, I'm pretty sure most of you already know. This is just for anybody who doesn't know at all what I'm talking about. Again, you're gonna need to look up some tutorials, and 3D printing is just one medium. Remember, this is an art-based channel. You're gonna be able to use any kind of medium that you want to make products, and this is just one that I really, really like, because I'm not good at putting cardboard together. Some people really are. This is just something that really has impressed me. You can get a good degree of accuracy with it. Back to the seam issue. The seam can be hidden to a degree. They have some advanced options where you can hide the seam along the corners, and that's usually what I do, like the edges right here. This might be a little more tricky, but I'm sure it'll work. And then I just wanted to make it a little ergonomic and save materials, so I swept it under this way. However, when you're doing things like that, when you're not having like a flat surface, there can be issues, and it won't look as pretty as you think unless you have a very fine resolution settings, which are gonna take longer to print, obviously. So I just wanted to crank this out and see how it looks, and it's okay. There's some things that I need to readjust. Like I said, I just spitballed it. I just, tried it out, and it turned out really good, but I can see where it's not completely centered right there. But I'm okay with that. I have the time and I have the material, and I can go back in and do it. I was busy editing the next video while I had that idea for that concept. Okay, so stay tuned. It's gonna be linked in the description of this video, and I hope this was insightful for you. I hope you learned a thing or two if you didn't know. And this is just an update and a challenge to embody the spirit of the dragon. 2024, let's be prolific, let's make a bunch of stuff. Let me know in the comments, have you made anything? Have you designed anything? What programs are you using? And remember, this is a safe space for people to come and discuss these things. We're not gonna tolerate Sonic the Hedgehog pajama wearers. We're not gonna tolerate Thomas the Train fans. All right, this is just a place for us to discuss art. So anyway, I gotta get back to editing that video and doing various other things. So stay tuned, subscribe, like the video, please. Also, follow me on TikTok, Kimchi Studios, Printscape. Check out my Patreon. It's a way to support me and fuel the documentaries that I hope are insightful and inspiring. I really am fascinated with how people come up with ideas for products and how they get them to market, and the struggles and the lessons that they learn in between. And I think that's going to be beneficial for all of us here on this channel. Stay grounded, stay positive, never give up, and I'll see you in the next video. Kimchi out.